Welcome back. I'm thrilled to have Jeremy Parking, the regional manager of Ontario for Rogers TV. So welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Feels a little bit weird. I feel like I'm interviewing like my boss or my CEO. Like, okay, so thank you for being here.
Yes, no problem. I'm hopefully not that intimidating.
But we are talking about something exciting that's coming, community news.
Yeah. So we are launching or have launched the Rogers TV Community News. So it's a brand new program that we're bringing to the region where we're going to do a 10-minute news wheel or 10-minute newscast that's going to run in a wheel that we're updating on a weekly basis to keep residents informed about the decisions and the issues that affect them on a day-to-day basis. Really, we recognize that local news is important, and there's a void that exists.
Right.
So what we want to do is try and fill that. So, we're going to go out there and we're going to, look at the issues that are at council, whether it be Oxford County Council, Woodstock Council, Ingersoll Council. We're going to go to all of them and look at those issues and say, hey, they've just made this decision. What does it mean for residents? And talk to the people that are making the decisions, the mayors, the councilors, find out more, and then talk to the residents about, what do you think about this decision that just happened and how it affects your day-to-day lives? We feel that it's important to keep everyone informed in what's happening in the region. So that's why we're doing this. So we're very excited to launch it, and hopefully it's going to resonate with the residents that are looking for something like this.
I think it's a massive gap, and that you're right, it needed to be filmed. Obviously, recently we have seen a shift where news is not allowed on our social media platforms. And, we have a demographic that they're not turning on the 6 o'clock news. They're not picking up newspapers. So if it's not on their social media feeds, they have no idea what's going on. And then it almost becomes a game of telephone, right? Where it's like, well, I heard about this and I heard about that. And then you hear it and you're like, that's not at all what's going on. So with that said, the fact that news is not available on social media, how do you plan on getting this out there to let the residents know it's available?
So really, it's about doing stuff like this, right? It's doing interviews, it's getting out and informing residents that this is what we're doing and it's available on Rogers TV, right? So our hope is that we'll drive people back to the channel. Come watch us. We're going to get it out there. This airs daily, 3 times a day. You'll be able to catch this. It's only 10 minutes, so it's nice and short for someone to be able to tune in. We're going to air it in 30-hour blocks so that it repeats. So if you miss it, you can catch it relatively quickly within there. And then we're going to put these things on our websites, right? So direct people back to rogerstv.com to see some of the stories that exist there, and then work with the municipalities, I think, is also a major part of this. So, we've been working in the background with them to help, reach a different audience, working through them. So it's sharing some of our content that we're doing, some of our programming with them so that they can post it on their websites. And again, the main part of this is to help keep people informed on what's happening.
Right. Okay. Well, we're super excited about this. So how will this look for residents? If they know a news story or if there's something that they think the community needs to know, what would the next steps be?
Yeah, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. We have an email address specifically for this news offering. So it's rtvswonews@rci.rogers.com. So rtvswonews@rci.rogers.com. And if you've got a news tip, if something's happening that you know about, reach out to us, let us know about it. If there's an issue that's happening at council that you feel isn't getting the attention that maybe it should, let us know. We'd be happy to kind of dive into those issues and see if we can get the answers that the residents are looking for. That's the most important part about this, is that it's councils make decisions, and it's great to be able to talk to them and the decisions that they made, but we also want to hear from the residents about how does that affect you, and how did that decision then turn into real day-to-day activities, and successful or not, we want to find out about it.
Okay. So bigger communities like Toronto, and they have their news stations that you can tune in anytime. Is Rogers doing this kind of across the board for the smaller areas? Like, we don't have our own news channel here the way that Toronto does, or London does, or Kitchener does. So smaller communities, is this happening?
Yeah, so we are looking to launch similar things across the board. I think here in SWO, we're a bit ahead of the game when it comes to Rogers TV across Ontario, but this is a direction for us, is to go into news and information. And I will say, like, when I looked at it as, you know, taking care of the London and, you know, the outer markets in Woodstock, Tillsonburg, St. Thomas, and Strathroy, we looked at it and said, London is served through CTV. So where can we make the impact? Where can we fill the void? That was in this offering. It's the reason why we looked at this area to start with this project, because this is where we can make the biggest impact. This is where we can fill a void. So yes, I would say that that's the vision of what we are doing, is to look at those markets that are underserviced when it comes to media in some cases, and
Provide the support.
provide this offering, short form news content for our residents and for our viewers.
Do you think that there will be anything with the police? So if there is big crime stories that are happening that typically do make the news, whether they want it to or not, will the Woodstock Police or Oxford OPP, will they be?
Yeah, so we're working with them. Like, we're working with the Woodstock Police, we're working with the OPP, the Oxford OPP to tell the stories that they have as well. You know, whether
So then it's the truth.
Yeah,
Right? It's not the game of telephone that people like to do.
Yeah. So yeah, we are working with various partners, including the police. You know, if there's a fire or if there's a rash of fires that are happening in Woodstock, the fire department are putting out hey, you know, stop burning this, stop doing that. We're going to be there to tell that story. Same with the police. If there's a rise in thefts, if there's a rise in, you know, violence, if there's a rash of things happening within our communities, we want to let people know about it to help with, you know, getting the message out there that it needs to stop.
Okay.
And that it is occurring, so residents can be safe.
Well, I'm thrilled that this is coming. I'm sure the rest of the community will be thrilled, and look forward to seeing the newscast then.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Thanks very much for being here.
No problem.
That's all we have for today. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.